When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, what's going on, Boise State fans? Can you hear me, Jay Tust?
I can.
It's working. I think it's working all of a sudden. How about that? We are.
What?
You're good. Shut up. We're testing we're trying to fix the mixer that didn't work at Media Days for the first 5 minutes, but it appears for the time being to be working. Welcome on in. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. Got an awesome show for you. We're going to hear from a lot of the coaches that we talked to yesterday. We'll give you your final preview. 7 months of talk of off-season football. Today's the final day because the first practice is tomorrow. Jay Tust of KTVB, sports director, is with us. How are you, Jay?
I'm doing great, man. It's go time. It's finally here.
It is. Well, we have a big announcement off the top before we get to the football talk. We have a new sponsor of the studios. That's right. We are now broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktails Studios. So excited to have them on board. Just like the name says, canned cocktails, whether it's whiskey, vodka, gin, rum, tequila, all mixed into your favorite drink, ready to enjoy right away. Jay, no need to bring all the different bottles of alcohol, all the mixers, sodas. Cutwater's already done all that for you. You can easily just enjoy a great cocktail wherever you are, whether it's out by the pool, camping, maybe up in Stanley, tailgating at a football game. You just grab a can and enjoy. You can find Cutwater Spirits canned cocktails at your local grocery store, your gas station. Very affordable, only a couple bucks a can, or you can get the variety pack, try out some of the different drinks. Again, check them out. All the different flavors. You can see some on your screen. And how about this, Jay? As part of the deal, they actually gave me some here. So we've got the what do you call it here? The little bucket, and I got a couple for you. Are you a White Russian fan? What do you want here? Bloody Mary seems more like a Jay Tust drink, maybe. We got
a Moscow Mule in there.
We got the lime margarita. We got a whiskey mule. How's that work?
I'll take that.
All right, the whiskey mule. We'll that's your payment for.
I might wait till after 9:05 though to
see how this trade deadline goes here in the next 30 minutes. I got a vodka mule too, if you'd prefer that. What else we got in here? But we appreciate a Long Island. Actually, I had this last night, Jay. I'm going to be completely honest. I've never had one of these. I've seen them in the store. At times, I've worried more about my carbs and the sugar count and things like that. But I you know what? I'm a picky drinker, and I've never tried these. And last night, I had a Long Island. It was a long day, as you know, with all that stuff. So about 10:30, cracked one of these open. It was unbelievable. Now they are kind of strong, 13.2% in the Long Island. So you don't need a lot of these. You get a couple, and you're good to go. But again, we'll really
you only get two of them, and we get happy, BJ.
There you go, exactly. And at one, maybe on these, the White Russian may be worth trying. The lime margarita, would that be something your wife might like?
Yeah.
All right, we'll save some of these for you. But again, we're very appreciative. We're growing here at Bronco Nation News. We've got some other cool additions in terms of some new shows and things moving forward. And we've got to pay for all that, and we're very appreciative of our sponsors, and in particular, our newest sponsor, again, Cutwater Canned Cocktails. They are the sponsor of our studio, where we are now broadcasting in the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studio. So you'll hear more about them moving forward, and excited to have them on board. Jay, I know we were joking about it, but it is the trade deadline day for baseball. I really like Andy Avalos throwing us a bone here, doing all the media stuff yesterday so we could focus on the trade deadline today. That was very nice of him.
Yeah, that was actually probably more for Tim Plow, the offensive coordinator, right? Big-time Padres fan. They got Josh Hader yesterday. They're still in the Juan Soto mix today. We'll see how that goes. You think Juan Soto gets traded?
if he gets traded to the Cardinals, these aren't even cold, but I'll crack one open right on the show here if it happens on the next 30 minutes. I'll let the viewers pick which one, and I'll chug one right here on the show if they get Juan Soto today, because I'm not expecting that, but that would be certainly awesome if it happened. But we'll see. 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I guess, here in Boise today for the trade deadline. So we'll be paying attention to that. But the final day, Jay, I should have counted up the exact days. You may know it off the top of your head, how many days it was since the last, I guess you had the game, but then I guess you had the spring practices. But I mean, it's been, 6, 7, 8 months really where we've had, all this off-season talk and spring practice. And I guess technically it'll be talk for another month until the first game. But at least to be able to have real fall camp practices with the entire 109 players and everybody here, and starting tomorrow at about 9 a.m. We'll be out there. You'll have footage on KTVB. We'll have some footage as well. It's an exciting feeling, man. It was fun talking to those coaches. They seem fired up, and it's been a long off season for fans, media, players, everybody, but fall camp gets going tomorrow.
Yeah, 249 days, BJ.
There you go.
249 days since they last walked off the field against San Diego State. Remind you that another weird bowl season where Boise State didn't play in a bowl game. So it's been a moment. It's so funny to me because when I think about it, I'm like, man, it feels like football season lasts at least half of the year sometimes, right? And really, it's a little over 100 days. It's just crazy.
It is. And it's even crazier when you think about all the work goes into like 12 3-hour games. I mean, it is pretty crazy. 12 games, 3 hours each, about, or 3.5, and that's what it all comes down to. But we had fun yesterday, Jay, talking to all the coaches. You had the nice little setup with the light and the everything. You were looking real professional up there in the top of the team room. I had my cell phone shaking in my hand, so the quality's not nearly as good. But we're excited to get going tomorrow, and there's a lot of storylines. A lot of coaches, with their position groups. It was fun that we've been talking all offseason about the storylines, but to hear the coach give their thoughts on things going into camp, I thought was interesting. Some news came out yesterday, Jay, with the roster. What'd you take away from the news and notes with the injuries and the roster and stuff like that?
First and foremost, I'm guessing it's the final time that he'll really address injuries moving forward. But I got to say, man, like a head coach breaking down kind of the injury situation going into fall camp, I don't know if they've ever been that transparent with it before.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually, I think he may have done it maybe at the first spring practice or maybe last year at some point. I keep going back to last year, Jay. We did this pre-press conference out on the blue turf, and then like at 9 p.m. that night, we got the email saying practice was closed because they had the COVID breakout, and I had actually forgotten about that till Andy Avalos brought it up at down in Vegas a days. So it's a lot different than last year, and you're right. He's treating things a little in year due and seems a little more relaxed. And you're right. After today, we probably won't hear it again. But it was nice to get a little update. We have a couple guys off the roster, couple injuries. Jacob Golden, who was arrested for a DUI, is off the roster. You have Taekwon Tyler, the running back, who we're going to hear from Keith Bonifant in just a second. He's off the roster. There's some interesting, roster moves. And I guess Tyreek Jones is a little limited. Couple guys a little limited, but nothing crazy in terms of guys. Nobody got tore their ACL in the summer or anything where they're not going to be available this at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I mean, overall, I felt like the injury news was fairly positive. The Tyreek Jones thing, Andy said that he had like a lower leg injury that kind of popped up. He's going to be injury limited, that is, for the next week or so. But Andy did say that he fully expects Tyreek Jones ready to go for the season opener in Corvallis, on September 3rd. So that's probably the most significant news. A guy like Tyreek Jones, he's in his 6th year of college. You don't really worry about him getting up to speed, maybe as you would have the same level of concern with other younger guys that would be trying to break in. I thought that it was really positive that, Riley Smith, Ka'anoi Kaniho, both those guys had shoulder surgery during the offseason, but they're going to be slightly limited. I think that's what Avalos said. Kind of coming into fall camp, but for the most part, they'll be available. John Ojukwu, same deal with him. He had some stuff cleaned up, I guess, during the off season, but overall, BJ, it feels like the injury news is fairly positive because there isn't a ton of injury news. It's mostly just positive updates. What did you make of the roster moves, and in particular, we find out that 2 days ago they find out that Tyquan Taylor is not going to be available because of some personal reasons, they called it. So he leaves, and then 2 days ago they'd been thinking about it, but 2 days ago they make the decision to move Caden Dudley over to running back. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, that's an interesting move, BJ, just because I think that there might be like this thought that Caden Dudley can play running back this fall, and like maybe he'll pick it up and be just fine, but like that'll be a process to get him to move positions. Like it just will be. He's a very talented kid with a versatile skill set, but it might just take him a moment before he can really get it all going. So outside of that, like there are not any like huge shocking position switches that were thrown at us. It's funny. We knew that Devin Wright was going to play edge, but technically when he first got here, he was listed just as a defensive lineman. You have Isaiah Banya that we've already talked about moving from edge to weak side linebacker. Jaden Clark was playing safety. I noticed that he was switched to cornerback again. And then Andy Nwoku, who's coming off an injury, he's listed as an edge after he was initially listed as a defensive lineman. So nothing like crazy there in terms of position updates or shifts, but I will say this: that there definitely seems to be a few more than maybe in the past. So this coaching staff is getting to know their players, maybe what their strengths, their weaknesses, and they're kind of adjusting before we head into fall camp.
Well, Keith Bonifaz was an assistant coach that I was very interested to chat with. We've talked about the running back depth, and it was already a concern for me before they even lost Tyler, Jay. And so they move over Dudley. Sounds like maybe they can add one more player, and maybe that's going to be a running back. We can talk about that in a second. But here's a quick bite of Keith Bonifaz talking about the running back depth, and he starts off with his goals for fall camp.
I would say, me and you were just kind of chatting about it. It's just making sure we build depth. Obviously, we know what George brings to the table. We have a sense of what Ashton can bring to the table. Tyler Crowe has been on in a limited capacity. Just moving Caden Dudley over from the receiver room, and then having a couple freshmen. We really are just trying to build depth, and I think that goes with getting some of the guys that you wouldn't traditionally see out there, Ashton or, Tyler Crowe, and then maybe even Caden Dudley and the freshmen, getting those guys a couple more reps than usual, just so we can kind of build that little bit of that playing experience as we go through fall camp. You go into it with confidence and continue to build. Like I said, coming out of spring ball in the summer, I feel good about what Ashton has been able to show. I feel good about what Tyler Crowe has been able to show. Caden Dudley just got into the room. Same thing with the two freshmen. So, for me, let's be honest, let me go back. Of course, everybody wants a bunch of veteran guys that know what they're doing. So I'm not saying, we're great. I'll have a great feeling. But I will say this, I'm not worried. I think at the end of the day, with the mindset, the mentality that we have on this team, the mindset, mentality we have on the offense and in the running back room, these guys are going to step up, and we'll be excited to have these guys stride and get us ready as we go through the 2022 season.
Well, Jay, there's Keith Bonifaz. Of course, he's not going to come out and say, yeah, I'm really concerned. We're in trouble if George gets hurt. So I'm not surprised he said that. But, man, this depth at running back, I'm not sure how much, Tyler would have played, but he was at least a JUCO guy and a guy that's been in this program a couple of years, has 4 years or whatever it is of college experience as a running back. Now all of a sudden you got Genty and Crowe going for 2 and 3, and that's who knows behind it. I will say this: I don't think Zeke Noah's brother has found a spot in the transfer portal yet. I'm just going to throw that out there. They potentially said they had one spot left. I don't know. I'm not trying to be cryptic and say I know something I don't, but I'm just curious with, it seemed like Andy was talking about adding one more player, and I thought he meant like a running back, but maybe not. I don't know. What's your just take on the running back depth with losing Tyler and what they're going to do there, and what you heard from Keith?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Tyquan Tyler, like he didn't. I always thought that he would play a little bit more, and something was holding him back, right? Like I don't know what it was, but just something was holding him back. And it's not like there wasn't opportunity last year, because there was opportunity last year. And so now that he's gone, I think you view this as more of a compliment, obviously, that you're losing off the roster, a guy that was, further down the depth chart. I mean, like, while sometimes ability, I thought that he could have been higher, he was still probably hitting 4th behind Helani, Ashton Genty, and Tyler Crow, right? And so when you consider that, like, it's a loss without a doubt, because you want depth at that position, and he was an older guy that had experience. But I just feel like that would be it wouldn't be a bad idea to hit the transfer portal one more time and maybe add somebody to that position.
I wish I had.
I will add this though, BJ. They do have a couple of young guys like the walk-on. They got a little bit of depth there. I know Ethan McKeed is coming off an ACL, and Taylor Markham, he's working his way back from an injury too. But they got a little bit of depth there, and we saw what Tyler Crow can do when he was given an opportunity, a local kid to walk on. I think that some of those guys have a chip on their shoulders.
And I'll go back and say what we've said a couple times this offseason. Nobody expected George Holani to rush for 1,000 yards as a freshman when he started third on the chart. So, I mean, stuff can happen. You feel good about Genty. I just think, when you look at last year, you had your two backups were two guys that, you felt very confident if you had to give 20 carries to either Van Buren or Cyrus Habibi-Likio. It's much more of an unknown with these guys, not necessarily a bad unknown. It's just an unknown.
No, you're right, without a doubt. I will say this, man. A move that looks very big was Ashton Genty showing up early.
Oh, yeah.
Because if that wasn't the case, like, think of the running back picture now. If they didn't have Ashton Genty for the last 8 months getting integrated not only into football but into college.
Hey, we need to get a little, I wish they had one of those little breaking news things, or if we see a tweet or something, to if we're going to go back and forth for the next 15 minutes with baseball.
Oh, are you going to chug a?
I might be getting closer, because John Morosi just tweeted that sources say the Nationals are in the process of calling up multiple minor leaguers to the MLB club, a sign that trades are imminent. So the Nationals are knowing they're going to need some more players for the roster tonight. We'll move the bucket a little bit closer. No, we're not there yet, but we'll start to move. You know what? I guess it's worth it, but as I told you, these things are 13% alcohol, and I told you I would chug one if they got Juan Soto. So I may have to try to see which one is the least strong of the group here. 14% for the White Russian. These are you don't need, these aren't like the seltzers where you have to have 7 or 8 of these things, man. You have 2 of these and you're good to go. Here we go. The grapefruit vodka soda, 5%. That might be that might end up being the choice. We'll see. But we'll see what happens. But I'm a baseball fan at heart, man. I know you are too. But the trade deadline's a fun day for me, and we got some Orioles fans on here, some other fans. We'll see. Everyone's commenting on their team. Let's move on. You want to go O-line or do you want to go D-line?
Let's go O-line. Who doesn't want to try to talk about the O-line?
We'll stay with the offense. We'll move over to the offensive line. Here's Tim Keene, Boise State offensive line coach, talking about his group.
It's just like when you have a lockdown corner. When you got a lockdown corner, you can kind of eliminate that receiver out there. It's the same thing that we're hoping for with him, is he can be a guy that can kind of just shear up the pocket and kind of eliminate that edge rush and allow Hank to be confident and get into his footwork and his drop and not have to worry about the pocket collapsing in on him.
But I mean, you think you have that on both sides, I assume.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that kind of, I don't know if luxury is the right word, you'd never even admit that, but I mean, just the comfort level, knowing on both ends like that, to have 2 guys like that.
Well, you have to have 2 guys nowadays, just because, especially this conference, the pass rushers are so good. And it's not just one, there's multiple guys. So we can design protections to slide one way, but then there's still that tackle that's going to be on that one-on-one. So it makes it a lot easier where we're not having to dictate which way we slide just based off one tackle. I have a little freedom to go both directions.
I was talking to Andy down in Vegas at Media Days, and he said, I was mentioning how one of Will, Garrett, or Ben aren't going to be starting this year probably.
Yeah.
And they started a lot of games last year, and he kind of said, well, that's what O-line depth should be. I mean, what does it mean to have actual capable guys that have played in terms of the competition at the guard spots?
It's everything. I mean, it means so much, just again, because those guys, they have the urgency now when they prepare. If you've never played in the game and you've gone a season where you've kind of been on the travel squad but never gotten in, you don't have that same urgency with your preparation, how you show up every day. So Will and Garrett and those guys, they know they have that urgency when they show up. This is how they have to handle their business to be able to play at a high level. So it rises everyone's ability and everyone's playing.
What'd you take away, Jay, from Tim Keene? And, that's been maybe the biggest offensive storyline, or one of having to improve the offensive line. And clearly, at the beginning there, I should have did prefacing it. Cade Beresford is who he was talking about at the beginning, and then you add in obviously with pair him on the opposite side with John Ojukwu, and he said he feels really good about the two outside guys, and then we talked about the battle on the inside there at the end. But what do you make? We've talked about it for 6, 7, 8 months. We all believe the O-line is going to be better. It sounds like it. Everyone's saying it. I mean, it should be better. Just the fact that you have two of the 5 are new that you feel good about. But how do you look at the O-line going into tomorrow? You're muted, Jay.
I think that's a group that has a chance to make a really big jump this year. They return a lot. And one of the biggest pieces is right in the middle of that thing in Keikani Okoa Gonzalez. I'm talking with Keen yesterday. He said that Keikani is a guy that just when he walks into a room, he has a certain presence about him. People listen to him. They try to model the way that they approach the game, the way that, by the way that he goes about his business. And so with him healthy, with him running the ship right in the center of that thing, John Ojukwu on the left side that seems just destined to have an awesome season. Cade Beresford bookending like the other end. Ben Dooley's only getting more mature, more experience under his belt. Remind you, he started playing football kind of late in high school. And then, that left guard position, I would assume, unless they slide Dooley over there, that's going to be a really highly contested, position because it's like the last open position if you want to start on an offensive line in college football. And they got a couple of guys that will take aim at that spot, and Garrett Curran and Will Farah, and there's a couple of other guys that are coming along that will push for playing time too.
A couple, we're going to talk defense here in a second, but I want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. Boise Dentistry Co. Check them out. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Locations across the Treasure Valley. Full family dentistry. Dr. Meinert has all the new equipment. Just makes going to the dentist fun. You can see my kids smiling there on the screen. So check them out if you're looking for a new dentist for your kids, your wife, your grandma, whoever. BoiseDentistryCo.com. You will not be disappointed. Bronco Nation News now on a client of United Commercial Insurance. You can check them out as well. 44 states around the country. They can write business insurance policies in. You can see the phone number there on the screen, 229-8222. You can check them out online, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. If you own a business or handle the business insurance with your business, whether it's workers' comp, any of the different liability policies, check them out. A 5-minute call could save you hundreds of dollars. It's a very easy process, all done online, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. You can find the one nearest you. I frequent that Cuno location often. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. We appreciate Ridley's Family Markets and hope you will support them next time you head out to the grocery store. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. All the new Nike coaches apparel, all the new gear, they got it there at the Blue and Orange Store. And if you're not in Boise, you can go to theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping on any order over $40. So if you go over $40, you can get free shipping at theblueandorangestore.com. So make sure to check them out. Jay, I do want to give one plug for Bronco Nation News. If you're looking to subscribe, it's just $1 a week. Now's the perfect time. We got all the breaking news, features, live shows, recruiting videos, and more. Use that promo code at the bottom there, FallCamp22. FallCamp22 gets you a full year subscription for just $52. It's $1 a week. I got a story I'm posting here in a few minutes on the 5 biggest position battles to watch and my prediction on who's going to win those. And that's going to be a subscriber-only deal. So most of the stories are going behind the paywall. Make sure to check them out. Appreciate all those that have already subscribed. So FallCamp22 is the promo code. You will not be disappointed, but all my articles are moving behind the paywall here. So the only way to read them for $1 a week is to head to BroncoNationNews.com and sign up using that promo code FallCamp22. Bob Nightingale, by the way, saying the Padres are getting, quote, close to landing Juan Soto from the Nationals. So they get Josh Hader yesterday. Now they're going to get Juan Soto potentially if Bob Nightingale proves to be true. But he's got a history of sometimes being wrong, so folks may are kind of celebrating if you're a Dodger or Cardinals fan. But we'll see.
Dude, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Manny Machado?
I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping with Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Soto, but I guess not. We'll see. I don't know.
Man, that's a murderer's row right there.
Hey, let's go to the defense. we'll go with the edge position first. It's an intriguing spot. You mentioned Devin Wright earlier. You lose Shane Irwin, Jay, late in camp or late in the summer, I guess, or during the summer when you're thinking that he was going to be kind of the starter over there. Sounds like George Tarlas, Cortez Hogans are the two guys battling for the starting spot on that side. You've got Dimitri Washington on the other side. And don't forget now, there's no, one side is one position, one's the other. They're more interchangeable, folks. You have the, quote, edge. And so Kelly Papinga is coaching both of those sides. But here he is talking about Hogans and George Tarlas. Interesting, Jay, two newcomers, both fighting for the starting spot there. They were here in the spring, which obviously helped. But here's Coach Papinga on the edge position.
They're both, very similar type of players. Both big, strong, powerful guys, explosive guys, have learned the scheme very quickly. I'm impressed with how fast they've learned the scheme. And so, I think that comes with the experience that they had playing, previously in another scheme, with JC Ball and then at Weber State, but just excited about the experience they bring. But like I said, the versatility that you need at the edge position in our defense, being explosive, being strong and powerful, being able to drop into coverage as well. They've shown that they're able to do all those things, and they've both shown that they fit the defense really, really well. So I'm excited about that competition.
What do you make, Jay, of Cortez Hogans and the local product, George Tarlas, fighting it out there at the edge spot?
I think it was an interesting move almost by the coaching staff too, BJ, because you just kind of alluded to it a little bit right there. But the defensive ends used to work with the rest of the defensive line, meaning basically the interior defensive linemen. And now, Kelly Papinga is coaching the edge position, and they've roped in the defensive ends with that position too. And so talking just a little bit with Frank Miley yesterday, it just what you ask a DN to do mimics a little bit more of what you ask a stud to do. And so I just think that, that plays into their development and all that stuff. And I just think that you're going to get the best out of everybody because of just the way that the setup is, right? And I am super eager to see what a guy like George Tarlas can do at this level. He's proven that he was elite at the FCS level, and now he gets a chance to come home, play on the blue, and play a really high level of football that he's very, very passionate about. And after that, Cortez Hogans, man, he is going to be a fan favorite too. I mean, George will as well. As if you follow him on social media, you would understand. But Cortez has this light, man. He is entertaining. He is fun. He is engaging. And I'm just excited to see what he can do on a football field too, because we really haven't seen him a ton out there. So good times, exciting times, and we'll see which one of those guys can step up and rise to the occasion and really, solidify that spot on the end of the defensive line.
One more battle is at cornerback. That's one of the more intriguing battles on this team, Jay. 4 guys that all started, I believe, at least 4 games last year fighting at corner. Here's the new cornerbacks coach, Demario Warren, talking about the battle there.
It's awesome because they got a good group. They're trying to push each other to be better and trying to make sure that we're all good. At the end of the day, last year we had to play a lot of different guys because guys got injured. And so I think they understand that for our team to be as good as we can be, we need to be deep at our position. And so, yes, there's a lot of competition, but yes, it's also trying to get everybody better in the room so that we have the best chance to win football games.
I mean, you got 4 guys that all started, I think, at least 4 games last year, and they probably all think they deserve to start again. I mean, how do you manage all that?
I've been in a similar situation, played running back, so only one of those guys get on the field at once. And so just sharing my experiences, talking through what our goals are as a team, as a unit, and making sure that they understand that they're trying to keep those things in the forefront, even though that you might not be getting as much time as you want. I mean, we can go through the whole season and all 8 guys not get as much time as they want. So you want to be out there every single play as a competitor. And so they just got to understand that what we're trying to do is win football games here, win a conference championship. And we got to make sure we're doing everything that we can, that everybody's ready to go and be successful when they get their chance in the game. Yeah, it's definitely good for me because we got options, and everybody's got to be on point every single day because they know somebody's behind them that's capable of being successful.
Jay, your thoughts on the cornerback battle heading into tomorrow?
They like to say dependable depth, right? In terms of what they want to develop. I think a more accurate description this year, though, is competitive depth. And you look at the amount of competition that they'll have at that cornerback position in particular. It's probably the best 1 through 4, 1 through 5 that it's been since I've covered the football team. I mean, even when they brought back starters, they've been like really clear-cut starters, and you're like, oh, maybe this guy could, play in some dime packages or whatever. But I mean, 1 through 4, any rotation they run out there, you would feel very confident, I think, if you're Boise State. That being said, I'm pretty confident that Caleb Biggers is going to have a big year for this Boise State defense. It just seems like the trajectory of his development, his confidence, and everything is where it needs to be and where you'd want it to be by exercising an additional year of eligibility. I feel like Caleb Biggers is going to set the tone at that position.
Well, we'll find out starting tomorrow. The competition gets going in reality, I guess. It's been going on all summer, but obviously fall practice starts tomorrow. Thanks to all of our sponsors, ICCU, Lithia Ford, of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, sporting the polo here today. Appreciate them for that. And our newest sponsor, as I said, Cutwater Canned Cocktails. So check them out, your local grocery store, gas station. And Jay, I'll have the margarita. And what was the other one you wanted? You don't want the vodka mule. You wanted the whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey mule. If Juan Soto ends up an M, I'm driving over to your house.
Looks like he's going to the Padres, so we're both safe, I guess. But we'll save these for you and Camille. And appreciate it, Jay. Appreciate everybody for checking out the show today. We'll have full coverage, highlights, interviews, everything moving forward with practice coming. In the next few days here as we start out tomorrow, and then we'll be back Friday, Jay, with you. But you'll have it covered on KTVB as well, all the different newscasts in the evenings, all the highlights, interviews. We got Hank Bachmeier talking tomorrow. That'll be a good one. George Helani, I believe, as well. So we'll have full coverage, Bronco Nation News, and you'll have full coverage at KTVB, man. Appreciate your time as always, and we'll catch up with you on Friday and see you out at practice tomorrow.
Sounds good, bud. We should have a lot to talk about on Friday.
There he is, Jay Tust, KTVB Sports Director. Appreciate his support. Appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Have a great day. Good luck to your favorite team in the trade deadline. If football, Boise State-related news breaks, we'll be back. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. By the way, 11 o'clock tomorrow, I believe. New time with practice starting, so I'm going to try a different time. We'll try 11 a.m. tomorrow for Bronco Nation News Live. So take care, folks. Have a good day. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.